This is the last episode of season 2. We've put out almost 28 episodes.
Going into season 2, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, no way.
When you bring in multiple voices to manage a narrative and a story, it is really hard to manage.
Yeah. Especially for me. I'm speaking for me, meeting me where I'm at. But you did it with flying colors. We went out to eat after, remember?
Oh my God, group of women. Getting to be in the same room as Dawn Staley, I was like, I'm in faint. We are back with season 2. It's Lauren Duletsky.
And I'm Jackie G.
And this is the Clack Podcast.
Welcome back, Clacker Gang.
Hey everybody, we are so excited. This is the last episode of season 2 of Clack. I cannot believe it.
Sad, but what a milestone.
We also need a vacation.
We surely do. I was going to say something else, but we absolutely freaking do.
Any of our listeners who are not watching us on YouTube or on social, we have the infamous Pay Us What You Owe Us shirts.
Yep, we sure do.
And I was so excited that we got them 2 days before this episode. And I was like, we're going to wear them
1,000%.
on the episode. And I cannot tell you, putting this on made me feel so confident. How did it make you feel? As a former athlete, how did it make you feel?
It made me feel proud, you know? I feel like this is a fight that these women have been fighting for a long time. And it's cool that I was a part of the t-shirt movement at the All-Star game. To see that and be there and breathe that and take that in was really cool. And I appreciate you ordering these because I'm representing. I love it.
That's right. That's what's up. Okay, so before we jump in, we have to do Jackie's favorite, as I always say. We want to make sure that you are with us, so please subscribe to our TikTok, our YouTube, however you find us. And also, because this is the last episode of season 2, you're definitely going to want to know when we're coming back.
Great job.
We have had some amazing new relationships building with our fans online, and I am so excited. I want to shout out Carla specifically.
Oh my God,
Carla,
she's the
we
best.
love you so much. Huge Indiana Fever fan, but we might be converting her to become
a
Fire
fan.
Well, Clack, duh, but also a Fire fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that's been really significant. But before we jump into everything, we want to set some intentions for this episode.
Yes, we do.
This is the last episode of season 2. We've put out almost, I think at this point it's 28 episodes.
Damn, that's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes. And this episode is not going to be super structured. It's going to be just Jackie and I chatting, catching up, talking about what we've experienced this amazing last 8 months, and especially with season 2 of all the learnings and the interviews and the crazy things we've done, and really acknowledge our fans too. And then we'll talk a little bit about what we're excited about coming up.
Yep, I love that.
How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I think our topic flow is going to be fun today, and I think it's going to be a lot of going back and remembering certain things, some crazy shit that happened, some good stuff that happened. Yeah, let's dive into it.
There's always some unhinged shit when it comes to us,
100%.
you know? But we get through it. We make our way through. We have had such an amazing summer of season 2. But also, Jack, I want to acknowledge that this has been an insane summer of women's sports in like the best possible way.
Yep, I agree.
I feel like you lived that firsthand.
I mean, here and there, yes. So shout out to women's sports. I mean, I feel like there's just been so many things that have happened this summer, so many great things that we've talked about. A lot of things that we didn't even get a chance to highlight, but we've talked about it one-on-one and on our social channels and stuff. But it's also been a huge summer of women's basketball, and that's something that we highlighted big time because it's the heart of the WNBA season. And I think that it's been great, and it's been a lot of fun to highlight all these women, these teams and leagues, and all the things.
That's right. I have to know, what was your favorite interview of season 2, would you say? Or episode, interview or episode.
Okay. There's so many to choose from for me for this. This is a hard one, and I've thought about it a little bit. I would say for me, my favorite interview was Amy Haas. And if going into season 2, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, no way. I didn't think that I was going to connect with the conversation the way that I did. And I feel like for me, that was my personal breakthrough interview. I felt like I started to find my voice a little bit from that interview. And I think that catapulted me and gave me a lot of confidence moving forward. But just going back to the actual interview and Amy and who she is and what she represents. I connected so deeply with that, and I think that her story, with all the adversity that she's dealt with and being able to push through the way that she did was very inspiring to me. And I look forward to seeing her content online every day and just seeing what she's up to. She's an inspiration, and um, I feel like when I watch her, she makes me want to be better.
Hmm.
And yeah, she was amazing, and I really enjoyed that interview.
I'm very surprised in like the best possible way.
Okay, I like
Because
that.
no, I remember that distinctive moment and that light bulb that went off for you in that interview.
Yeah.
And I think that was so special to see because especially in a sport and with an experience that's maybe really different than your own, but I think
Hmm.
there were so many amazing connection points between you two
Yeah.
that just sparked in that interview. And I just loved watching that. So,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, she, like I said, I would have never guessed that that would have been my favorite, but there was just something about her and the way her and I connected in that interview that I really appreciated. But enough about me. I want to hear what your favorite interview was.
oh man, it's so hard to pinpoint an interview because every interview I learn something new and really significant. And but I would have to say having Michael Cooper on and getting to be really in the room with a NBA legend like that who's also contributed so much to women's sports and to really for the first time be more of a fly on the wall in an interview and really capture these amazing stories from him. I was just so captivated. And it's so important that there's tons of stories about them out there, right?
Yeah.
But like, especially someone like him that has been coaching women's basketball since 1991, people. And we were his first women's sports show that he ever went on.
Yeah.
I'm really, really proud of how we showed up and how we interviewed him
Yeah.
and especially you, because you have an amazing way that you engage people.
You're the best. Well, thank you first and foremost, but I would to piggyback on that, I would say for someone who doesn't really know basketball the way that me and Coop know basketball and the way we were bantering and talking, I felt like your contribution to the conversation was perfect. And, the things that you were saying, I think really resonated with him too. The questions that you posed were questions that he had to think about a little bit, and probably he'd never been asked those questions before. I thought that you did a great job in us pulling things out of him that he's probably never had to pull out in any interview he's ever done.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. But I just feel like we were both so spot on in that interview
It was fun. It
and
was
we're
chill.
yeah, and we're just getting better and better. When you bring in multiple voices to manage a narrative and a story, it is really hard to
Yeah,
manage. And the magic that you see in that final cut is so different than like the experience we go through. And
totally.
so it's Jackie and my job to like get better and better at how we interview these people. And so I think we've really started to unlock a gift here for both of us, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, same. I think for me too, when we're interviewing a guest and it's not just me and you, I have to remember to stay engaged in the conversation and not think about the next question.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's something that I've struggled with of just like asking the question, hearing the response, right? And then already thinking about the next question. Whereas, like, no, let me engage in what we're actually talking about and be here and be present in that conversation. So I feel like, again, we have done a really good job at doing better at all of that.
Absolutely. And that's actually a great segue into my next question. What would you say is the greatest learning that you've gained in season 2 of doing this show?
So for me, season 2 was all about finding my voice. And I think that in season 1, I did a lot of kicking back and letting you, steer the ship because you're so good at what you do. You're such a great podcaster. You have so many great things to say. You're a machine. You could literally talk about anything. And for me, I don't really speak up unless I have a point of view or unless I have something that is contributing to the conversation. And when you're doing a podcast with someone, it's good to have some balance, right? But I think for me, season 2 was about finding my voice, finding my comfortability in conversations, even if I wasn't comfortable in the topics. And even if I didn't have much to say, I wanted to still find my voice. And also that came with preparation and coming into these interviews more prepared. I think I did a little bit better of a job at that. But also just like remembering that this is just a conversation. Yes, we have all these cameras in front of us, but it's just a conversation. Um, and I love talking to people and pulling out their stories and learning about who they are and what they're all about. So I think season 2, I'm chalking it up as I found my voice a little bit more.
Oh, I'm so happy you said that. I was like, listen, 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 engage, 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 and then explode with excitement. Because
I love you.
literally, I think that's being a co-host and co-founder with you on this, getting to watch you come into your voice has been the most beautiful thing to see, especially because you're an athlete. Like
Hmm.
you grew up a very certain way with a certain set of goals. The way you talk to the media was a very certain way. And I think a lot of athletes shy away from telling the world what it's actually like to be an athlete because they have to be a certain way. And you have completely like taken down that curtain,
Yeah.
and it has resonated not just on our show, but on social media. I mean, we've got videos out there, people, of Jackie talking about her experiences with injury and other important topics, pay equity, and they have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. And I think we need more athletes that feel comfortable enough to be real.
Yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
starting, but I don't think we're anywhere near where it could be and can be in the future. So I'm just really proud of you for that.
Thank you. I'm so proud of you for so many things too. So now that we talked about me, I'd love to hear about your biggest learning of season 2.
Yeah, I think that for me, I would also say that it's been about finding my voice, but in a different way. I can be extremely dominating in conversations and sometimes exaggerate and belabor topics, and I really think I'm getting a lot better in front of the camera, and I'm getting a lot better at knowing that there's a power in being quiet and listening that's never been my strength. And so I think there's a lot more work I want to continue to do there, and find that balance with you. But I still think like that's always been a lifelong journey for me of like,
Hmm.
how do you show up in a room and influence? How do you show up in a room? And when you say something, it sticks.
Hmm.
And there's certain things I do well there and certain things I do not. The other thing I would talk about as far as like a big learning from this season is, we started to really ramp up with new partners and new types of opportunities for our brand. And our brand is like really growing and it's really exciting. And I think it's about, as we grow, how do we really make sure that we're thinking about operationalizing and making our show stronger and meeting people where they are in our team and making sure we're bringing in diverse talent. And I think those are just things I think about as a leader. I think this season has tested me a little bit on like delegation and making sure that I do take breaks
Hmm.
because I'm not great at that. And I'm about to go take a break and go on a Disney cruise. So,
We'll talk
so
about that
we
later.
will all come up with a shitload of content for the pod on that
Yeah,
one.
but
But yeah, I would say those were my biggest learnings from season 2. But the thing that remains constant for me is just how much fun I have with you when I'm in this seat.
yeah.
And there's just nothing quite like it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you and I have built something really special together. Our banter and just our conversations, I feel so comfortable in the chair with you here. But one thing that I want to call out is when you said meeting people where they're at. I think that you have done such a good job at that because, um, especially for me, I'm speaking for me, meeting me where I'm at. So many layers to so many things that are going on. And you've constantly made the effort to meet me where I'm at. And that is like all I could ask for in a partner. Someone who is okay with me, giving you feedback on something or something that, I'm feeling. I know that I can always have the hard conversations with you, and you're going to take it, digest it, and try and fix it for me. And that is absolutely huge. And I hope you know, or I hope you think that the same is in return.
Hmm.
And then, lastly, I would say, you dominating conversations, right? That being the first thing that you said. I think that it is your superpower that you can do that. And I think that you have, again, taken feedback so well from our entire team who's like, Lauren, sometimes you got to just sit back and not say anything. And maybe let's see if Jackie speaks up, right? Maybe let's see if, like, my muted ass will fucking step up to the plate and fucking say something. And you've done so good at that and just kind of allowing me to have the stand as well. And I think There's so many improvements, Lauren. I can't even like sit here and explain how like much better you've gotten in so many areas. So
Thank you.
that have just like it's making everything flow. It's making everything work because of like the work that you're putting in. So
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It like makes me God, I'm gonna cry again on I cried. Remember we cried.
you gotta cry every end of the season.
I know every end of the
We
season.
need tears, real tears.
Guillermo almost made me cry earlier,
Well,
but no, I really appreciate you saying that. And I think for anybody, again, I go back to like, there's over 3 million podcasts in the world, right? There's a lot. There's billions of social media accounts. And I think what's so beautiful about this space is it gives people like us the opportunity to innovate and create something that can stick. And it isn't just about scale and big and huge and impact and make millions of dollars. Yes, those are also goals, but it's also about building something we feel genuinely proud of.
Yeah.
And you have to put the work in to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, and it's just like a sport, right? Like if you want to be a professional athlete, you got to put the work in. You got to do 500 shots every day to become an amazing shooter. If you want to go in front of the media and you want to be a podcaster, like you have to keep getting better and taking notes and listening to your creative director when he says, stand back from the mic for the 5,000th time. Like it's, like those are all really important things. And so I feel like this process has made us both better in how we're communicating with our fans, but also just better people, at least for me.
No, I couldn't agree more. Well said.
And now we're going to pivot into like some funny shit because that was like the inspirational tearjerker stuff. Let's talk about some unhinged shit that has happened.
Oh God,
which is like kind of constant.
Yeah, literally.
What would you say is like the most unhinged thing in your perspective that happened this season?
I don't even know if I would say it's like unhinged, but a moment where I was like, what in the entire F is going on? When Susan Borchard came on the show and she came here and she brought all her bands and all her, like some of her equipment stuff to give to us, right? And she put us through the fire drill series, which I've heard around the block, this fire drill series, pregame, postgame, whatever, I've heard from other players that her shit is like really intense. Okay. And there's a reason it's called like the fire drill. And she put us through that mini workout in my garage. And I was trying to act like I was holding it together because you were doing it right next to me. You were focused. You were breathing hard. You were in it, right? And I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm the ex-professional athlete. I got this, I'm going to do these little fire drills. This is nothing. I already worked out today. I'm good. Like, it is what it is. I was sore. My fucking ass was sore, literally sore for 3 days after that. I could barely sit down in a chair. And I felt like you had the upper hand on me on that. So again, that's not unhinged, but it's a moment where I'm just like, let me think back on stuff. And like, this was a time where I'm like,
I was unwell.
I was unwell. Extremely unwell.
I mean, I think that's why you and I work as like friends and co-hosts and co-founders, because we both, despite like the backgrounds of sport we come from, like we're competitive as fuck when it comes to like getting it done. Like whether it's work or sports. Like I was like, I'm not gonna let Susan Borchard, who works with the most elite athletes in the world, be like, who the fuck is this girl? Like she can't do a squat. And I was wearing Junko jeans, so
you did those drills. You were so fierce when you were doing them too. I was like, look at little Lauren over here.
I was like, I want to like show off for you. I'm like, I'm not a bullshitter.
You killed it. You put me in my place. I started practicing those. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get good at these. So
I mean,
you got my ass in shape.
I love it.
So let's flip it to you. I want to hear. I know you have some stories. I know you have something to contribute here. What is the most unhinged thing that has happened to you in season 2?
I'm not sure I would qualify this as unhinged, but working the Portland Fire event, which was a dream, truly a dream.
Yeah.
But doing it in 96-degree weather on hot pavement, wearing heels, it took a lot of grit. And it was...
Were your like toes sliding in your heels?
I was so unwell.
Is that just...
I literally... and that I was up at 3 a.m. for the GMA taping.
You sure will.
So I literally went from the GMA taping at 3 a.m., went and got my hair done, Then I went to the fire event
I don't know
and literally
how the
stood
fuck
in
you
96
survived that.
degree weather interviewing people with you. I was floating on a cloud. I was like, I am not in my body right now. This is what unwell looks like.
Yeah.
And literally I went up to Guillermo at an event the next day and was like, "Hi, it's nice to meet you." And I was like, "I meant to say, "Hi, it's great to see you." Like I was so unwell. And
But you did it with flying colors. We went out to eat after,
oh my
remember?
God, we did, but those slushies at what's that restaurant called again?
Um, Eam.
Eam,
So
freaking
good. Shout out to
obsessed.
Eam
Shout out to Eam.
slushies.
Their alcoholic slushies were, I could have had like seven and just been absolutely tanked. But
Yeah.
it was, that day was a dream, like truly a life lived dream on our vision board to be part of in some way the team here and helping grow women's sports here. But doing it 96-degree weather was not my preference.
Yeah.
But
That was an experience
our
for
phones
sure.
were overheating while we were trying to do
They were.
interviews. Like it was a whole thing. But you know what? You do what you got to do to
Yeah.
win.
You
So,
do what you got to
no, we
do.
don't give up on this show.
No.
We don't give up.
You were incredible that day. Relentless. Just an absolute machine.
So let's pivot a little bit to talk about this was an amazing summer of women's sports. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was.
like one of our sections in the culture episode is called the drip because there's just a drip of headlines constantly happening. It's
Mhm.
so exciting, but also just like the energy was electric this summer.
Yeah, it was.
Heavy WNBA season. Obviously, we're right in the hotbed of WNBA. But Jack, I want to know from you, like across the landscape, what were just a couple of your favorite women's sports moments this summer and why?
Yeah, wow. I mean, I feel like there's so many to choose from, but I would say some highlights for me this summer are the talks of expansion in the WNBA. There's going to be five new teams in the next 5 years that are going to be in the WNBA, and I think that that has just been a huge, huge thing for us in the league and the growth. And then obviously the Portland Fire right here in our backyard, another big moment for us. I think being at WNBA All Star was a huge moment for me, and just seeing the growth of just brands coming into the space
Mhm.
and all the activations for players and all the opportunities for players. It's been really, really cool to see that. I mean, I've just heard across the league that players after the All Star weekend were just so tired because there was just so many appearances and so many
Yeah.
things. It's a good problem to have. Like that means that brands are putting their money where their mouth is, and I'm really
Mhm.
proud to have been a part of that and to be there when the players put on these shirts, and they stepped out in front of the arena in front of thousands and thousands of fans. And I think that it's a pivotal time in women's basketball, and I think that it made so much noise and there were so many headlines around it, and it was really, really powerful to be there in that room. um, yeah, I'll stop there because I could keep going, but I'm going to stop there. So
Mhm.
I want to flip it to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pinpoint one moment. I would say for me personally, obviously All Star was so cool. Like, was so cool to see the fashion, so cool to see the game, everything. But I think for me in my own personal bubble, it was getting to go to the Epicenter event in Portland, Oregon, which was hosted by Raj Sports, which was all about really declaring to the world that Portland wants to be an epicenter for
Right.
women's sports. And getting to see just an incredible group of women getting to be in the same room as Dawn Staley. I was like, I'm gonna faint. And also getting to meet people like Elizabeth Lindsay, who is the head of brands, president of brands for Wasserman, and getting to hear her say that, give me these stats that truly blew my mind, which was 82% of men make all of their money on the field of play, and 17% make money off. Whereas for women, it's completely inverted.
Love this quote.
And so we have to be prolific on social media
Yeah.
and with brands to eat.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. It was
that
so good.
stat just truly like cut for me. So getting to be in the presence of women like that who have
Yeah.
both impacted at the athletic level, it's been transcendent for me
Yeah.
this summer. So, and this is just the beginning for us. So yeah, I would say those are some of my favorite moments. I mean, there's just too many to pinpoint, frankly, but those were the ones for me.
No, those were some great moments. And I just remembering that quote that she said, like, you have to be prolific on social media. It's like, yes, very, very true, but like, it's only a very small percentage of players that are actually prolific on social media. So it's like, yeah, just the way that was put and the way that was said is just like, holy crap, you know?
Absolutely. And I would highly recommend, if you are interested in the data behind consumer purchase behavior and women's sports and sports generally, go check out Wasserman the Collective, which was helped co-founded by Elizabeth Lindsay.
I know you love some data, girl.
I freaking love data, but it's because it's what you use to sell brands.
Yeah.
You have to prove
Yeah.
that there is a consumer here, that there is a market here, because women's sports cannot be seen as a charity. Any longer. It has to be treated like a business, just like our business has to be treated like a business.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. If we don't all start thinking that way, we're never going to grow it.
Right.
So,
Preach, Elle. Come
preach.
on now.
So yeah, those are some of my favorites. Jack, what is one goal you have for season 3?
One goal that I have for season 3 is to have Cheryl Swoops on our show. And
let's go.
This is a guest that I have been wanting for us since we started this podcast. She's in and out of Portland. She works at Nike. She is an absolute legend in the game. I definitely think that it is a goal that we can accomplish, given her proximity to people that we know. You know, so I'm really hopeful that we will get her on season 3.
Let's go. I know we've been working on it.
Yes, we have. What about you?
So my goal for season 3 is, obviously I want to get amazing guests. Like I think we've done great guests, but I want to have a bigger live recorded show with you. I really think that is the key to us unlocking a true fandom here, is going to meet people where they are offline. And we definitely saw that with the Hooper camp we did this summer, getting to engage with the young girls. Remember some of them we saw at the fire event? You know, that is the magic of why we're doing this, is the fan connections and the community we're building around this. And so that's what I want for season 3 is a bit more of that.
Well, I think that's a really, really good goal. I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think when we're in the community and we're out there and we're meeting people, it's definitely something special. So I love that.
Jack, I want to leave you with just one more flower.
Okay.
You are one of the most special people in my life. Such a good friend, such an amazing co-founder. Thank you for continuing to believe in me and us as we go on this journey and we learn together. And I can't wait for what season 3 is going to bring for us.
I love you. Same. I can't wait for season 3 either. I think being on this journey with you has been so much fun and such a light in my life. And I couldn't ask for a better partner. And there's no one else I'd rather be doing this with. So thank you. And I'm sad that it's the end of season 2, but I know we all need a little bit of a break.
We need a break.
And I'm so excited for season 3. I just think like every season we're going to continue to grow. And this company has just endless possibilities, and I'm just excited for the future.
Let's go.
Let's freaking go.
We're going to end this episode like we end every episode, which is, we're hungry as fuck.
I'm truly ravenous.
If we don't feed Jackie, she will stop talking.
Yeah,
so.
I could actually fall over in this chair right now.
Anyway, we love you all so much.
Truly, truly love
Thank
y'all.
Thank you for being with us and just listening to our voices and caring about what we have to say. And we can't wait to meet more of you in real life.
I know. I'm waiting for that. We need to meet the fans in real life.
Let's go. But anyways, Jack, here's to season 2.
Season 2. Yeah.